Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our Exhibitor Masterclass. I'm excited to be here today. My name is Alan Thornton, but what I really want to go and jump right into the framework. Many of you have been asking, you've probably seen us on social media. You have either attended our conference. We've met you either in Atlanta at InvestFest, in Miami at Path to Prosperity, in LA, in New York at Fashion Week, and this one is for you. We're going to talk about this manifestation shot, right? And what I really want to go into is our exhibitor masterclass. So this is our exact framework for exhibitors, speakers, influencers, coaches, and creators to build a tribe of customers before the next conference you go to. And what we're going to do is show you something that has worked for us. And I'm just going to show you the journey. Some of you will be ready and say, hey, let's go. Others will want more information, and others will say, look, I just want that manifestation shot. Either way, we part ways as friends, but I'm excited to show this information to you. So who is this for? It's really for exhibitors, coaches, influencers that are in the launching phase and really invested in their success, and exhibitors, coaches, influencers that want to build high ticket offers, those who want to build consistent 5-figure months, but we're using a conference to go ahead and do that. And exhibitors, coaches, influencers that are building a following on IG, LinkedIn. Now, you don't have to start, right, with a big following, right? You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to become great. I love Jim Rohn. So we're going to start with a scripture here. And for those of you, I don't inflict my faith on anybody, but I can tell you, I made a promise to God, right? I have gone up and down throughout my entrepreneur journey, like a lot of us. And I made a promise. And at my lowest point, I said, look, I'm going to give you the glory, because I know at this point I was told, I'm going to bring you at the lowest point. So, you know, whatever you have comes from me. So this is one of my favorite scriptures. Do not conform to the pattern of this world. Instead, be transformed in the renewing of your mind. And once we talk about manifestation, this is not hocus pocus. We're not going to be weird. I'm just going to give you the facts, give you some real life examples, and let the cards lay where they go. So I'm just going to show you the journey. This is going to be real quick. This masterclass, we're going to just get right into the point. Now, if you don't believe in manifestation, that's cool. And this probably won't be for you. And that's cool. I'm just going to show you some real life examples. You're not going to hurt our feelings if you shut this off and say, look, they're talking about manifestation. This guy built the conference because he believed in it and not many other people did. And I just want to go somewhere and, you know, be an exhibitor. And that's fine. But what I want to show you some things that have transformed our life, our business life, our personal life, and been able to find some freedom doing it. So just a little bit about me, not to impress you, but to impress upon you. My name is Alan Thornton. I am the founder of these manifestation shots. I'm going to show you how every step of the way. I am the founder of Money for Your Mission, Inc. and the 40 Acre Conference, which is the largest financial empowerment conference in the world, on MLK and Juneteenth. Prior to that, coming out of college, I was a real estate investor. Always have sold enterprise software at some of the largest Fortune 500 companies out there, and helped people with one of my other companies raise, find, and secure over $28 million. And really started niching down and generated a 7-figure business in doing that. So been inducted to the 40 under 40 here. Been named one of the top 50 startups to watch, and really saw a need and a gap for a conference that could really change things for people. So let me show you how. If you're ready, type in the chat. I'm ready. Okay. So after we started Money for Your Mission, Inc., with just background story, grants, government contracts, just like a lot of you probably have a successful business already. You've probably have been doing some really good things in the marketplace wherever you are. You probably have exhibited at a few different places, some of the largest conference, have a lot of friends that are celebrities, influencers, even some that are already clients. But what I'm going to show you today is really, one, believing in what you can achieve through manifestation, right? Because that's where it starts. As a man thinketh, so shall he. Come on, somebody, right? Now, in 2020, I'm going to take you on a short journey from 2021, right? And just till now, 2023. There was a renewed focus on the Black and minority community when George Floyd got killed. And many of us know that, right? It was a tragedy. And there was a lot of companies that said, look, I see what had happened to George Floyd. There's some bad things that have happened to African American people and, of course, other minorities. But we want to raise our hand and make commitments of 20 million, 30 million, 100 million, 500 million, a billion, 30 billion. And what happened is we saw a lot of corporations raise their hand. Unfortunately, just a year later, less than 2% of those commitments, even today, have actually been fulfilled. So what I saw is I'm in love with history. Unfortunately, sometimes that history tends to repeat itself. So there was a promise to the Black community. Many of you know 40 acre and a mule. That was a great promise. They didn't know who to give it to. They didn't know how to manage it. And ultimately, it just disappeared and got swept on the rug. And 40 acres and a mule had some of that same narrative of, oh, you know, we're going to do it over 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. And you see some of those same things today in the press. It's a 10-year commitment. We're about to do it. So there was a couple of entrepreneurs that said, you know what, forget that. We ain't going to get the 40 acres and a mule. We're going to start our own. So they started the most thriving Black community in the world at that time and built some of the most luxurious hotels, J.B. Stratford and O.W. Gurley. And at that time, this was before Hilton, before Marriott, and a lot of that framework was started out of this. And they built this 35 square blocks. They didn't build one thing, they built 100 things, right? They built 1,000 different businesses in 35 square block and just helped everyone through group economics. And unfortunately, through greed and hatred, that got bombed, and we all know how that ends. So I said, you know what? There was the 100th year anniversary, and I wanted to be a part of that, so I did. I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and this moment changed my life because I met a couple guys. Many of you know them as Earn Your Leisure, Rashad and Troy and Ian, and I met Hill Harper in a small room of no more than 50 people. And they talked about how they were going to do this big conference called InvestFest. And many of them at that time, they probably had a following of about 100. This is May of 2021. Maybe they had 150,000. I know it was less than 200,000. They were popular influencers, but they weren't at the level that they're at today. They were going to start a conference. People said, don't do it. They said, we're doing it anyway. We're not just YouTubers. We're going to speak into existence. And I said, man, I'd love to. I have this big plan, this big goal to do this thing called the 40-acre conference and plan all over the country. And they said, hey, whenever you get that together, let's go. I said, hey, y'all doing that InvestFest, I'll be there. I'm going to support y'all. I'm going to buy a VIP ticket. You know, I'm going to go out there and exhibit. And I did that. At that same time, there was a show called Undercover Billionaire. And I watch TV and be more intentional about the game that I can take away from that. And there were a couple people on there. Her name escapes me. It's Timberland's ex-wife. It was Grant Cardone. But the premise of the show is they take high-level individuals, they take their name, they take all their contacts, they take all of their money and drop them in somewhere just remote. And they say, hey, you got 90 days to build something that's $1 billion. So $1 million in 90 days. So they Grant Cardone came up with a marketing concept and built a marketing agency, hit his number. Another one came up with a real estate and kind of tech thing and built this hotel from the ground up. Another one came up with this healthy energy drink, and taking all that game, I came up with this manifestation shot, right? Because I was thinking and manifesting what we were going to do at this conference. And marketing is always a good thing, right? And at that time, it's kind of a promo thing. And this healthy energy drink was good, but I said, we're going to make it luxurious, right? We're going to make it sexy. Then I went to InvestFest and they made it real sexy, right? I met some people that I looked up to. Les Brown, I've been watching since I was a kid. Met CEO Matty J, hooked up with Rashad and Troy, Wall Street Trapper, right? And I started kind of testing the market on the John Henry on these energy shots. But what I saw most importantly was them actually execute. They executed that conference, had about 4,000 people there. So right when I went back, I paid a coach because I didn't know how to start a conference. And what I basically did was pay for proximity, right? He's $2,000 an hour. I said, hey, who, what, when, where? You're good at this. I've done good in my lane, but help me out. And what over the next 48 hours, he had some context that I didn't have. And he said, hey, let me call Hiram. He does a lot of things for BT. You know, he has some good contacts. I know you want to do things with celebrities, government officials, never been done before, right? And get other people involved. So I know you probably met the mayor, but I'll get him in a place to where he can hear your idea. And I did that, went to this spot. We had a VIP ticket and got involved with all of these different people. I was looking for venues at the time. There was this new spot called The Post that was about to open. And he said, hey, he got me in for a tour before it even opened. That's me in a construction hat. This young man introduced me to him, Anthony Flynn. He's actually Eric Thomas's right-hand man. But that was in September. So I said, look, I saw Rashad and Troy do it. I can do it. I know at that time my Instagram following was probably like 127 people, right? Some of y'all can relate. But I knew how to operate business. And within 90 days later, we did it exactly how we said. There was some hurdles along the way, and Hill showed up. CEO Mandy J showed up. We had, you see on the right there, we popped up in a few different cities. That's me and Matt and Sarah Fontenot. That's in LA. We had a fashion show. We had a hip hop showcase. We sponsored a bunch of kids, and we created a niche conference around a 40-acre conference to bring together government officials and celebrities and influencers so that those corporations can disperse the money that they had promised. And we broadcast to 200 countries. Now, the incredible thing about broadcasting to 200 countries is I got a call, and I had a Congolian billionaire on there. And next thing I know, I got flown to Africa for this African American Descendants Day because they said, hey, you know what you're doing? And I kind of had imposter syndrome at that, especially when I flew over there. Like, who do they think that? I got a police escort the whole time, right? I'm driving around with these armed guards, and I'm sitting there. And here's where I got imposter syndrome. And some of you may be at that same place. Like, hey, I'm just an exhibitor, or I'm just a vendor, or I'm just getting started. But there's some things that are much bigger for you, especially if you're watching this right now. And I'm going to tell you that because I felt the same way. And I'm sitting next to the Minister of Finance, the Prime Minister. People pay tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to be in a room like this. And they flew me over there, right? And I participated in the first African Americans Descendants Day in the Congo, got diplomatic status just because I was able to execute. I wrote all these things down. I manifested it. I was taking these money shots, right, to execute on my goals just to keep me on track. And it happened. And we did our Juneteenth event. I told everybody we're going to do a Juneteenth Hall of Fame and highlight all the entrepreneurs and the people that have done great and pushed our community forward from a financial perspective. And they said, no way. But at that same time, corporations started catching on. And that same place that they told me I couldn't do a conference and do 40 events and 40 events in 4 days, I did it. And we were the first ones to do it. Not to impress you, but more to impress upon you. Whatever you're doing right now, you can do it bigger. And we want to help and be a part of your story. We got government officials involved. And then here was my free to free moment. Remember I told you we were doing these promotional shots, and they were sexy and they were fun. But at that point, we weren't really selling a lot of them. It was more of a thing to get us to the next thing. And then I was at a conference, the Biggest Boss conference, and one of the celebrities wasn't able to show up. His flight got delayed, and they're like, man, who's going to fill in? And I was there, and I had a bunch of money shots, and I said, look, I'm ready to go. Let's go. And I opened up, had the opportunity to open up for Eric Thomas, bought a bunch of people on the stage, took some money shots, had Kiati there, had Isaac Amor, you may see him all over. He's the #1 luxury brand. You see his does stuff for Weather, Magic Johnson. But After that, people started chasing me. Like this young lady chased me in the parking lot, say, "Hey, I want one of those money shots," right? Vivica Fox was there, Master P was there, and we started. People were like, "Hey, we want you to speak. We want you to do these manifestation shots. We want," and they asked me, "Do you have a coaching program?" And I said, "I don't, but I got a conference." So that's all I had at that time. And then we did our conference. And that same time, and when Hill said he would pull up, On Your Leisure did the same thing. And I held my first golf tournament when they said we couldn't hold my first award ceremony with all of our team and rented out a whole theater, had a red carpet, had 19 keys there, had billionaire Mike Roberts there. And it was absolutely phenomenal. And it was the result of manifestation and me believing in my own stuff. That's what many people will test you, and the enemy will test you to see if you believe in your own stuff. We partner with the White House. So I'm telling you to say this, wherever you are, just being an exhibitor, I want to help you elevate. So we're going to have 100 exhibitors at our next conference. And I want this for you to go for an exhibitor, to introduce you to these people, introduce you to some of these sponsors, right? Introduce you to an impact journey that you can tie to your conference so it's bigger than just you, and take whatever you're doing to the next level. Show you how to get ingrained with, like, I got ingrained with the White House, with Congress, with the state of Texas, congressmen and senators that don't historically, right, if you look at it, have a lot to do with Black people, but then they started supporting us because they saw we had a lot of Black people, and what do they want? That's a whole nother masterclass. And then I got involved with a couple of my friends that I've been at Bible study with for years, but that built a couple $1 million coaching business and helped me build this program to help take my exhibitors to the next level, because we want to create that same thing that happened on Black Wall Street, create that group economics. So we're going to help 100 exhibitors, influencers, and coaches have booths not only at our conference, but take them to the next level, wherever that is. And I want to make that happen for you. This could be you. This could be your face on there with the exhibitor and having a tribe of everything for you. So we're on a mission to help 100 exhibitors, coaches, influencers add 100K to their business and show you. We have a client attraction system. You talk to Markel Russell, right? These people have spoke at my conference. So before you even get to the conference, to Twan and Corey, I want you to have a tribe of customers that are picking up product for you. And that's what we want to attract. So many of you after this are like, look, let's go. What's the investment? I know it's going to be, you're offering more value. So it's going to be more than, just a regular conference, because you're offering more. Some of you say, hey, I need more information. And some of you say, look, I don't want to be an exhibitor. I'm going to be somewhere else, even though we have virtual exhibits as well, but not this time. But I want one of those money shots, right? We could get you that too. So I want to thank you for your time and attention. We look forward to seeing you at our next 40 Acre Conference, at our Juneteenth Freedom Festival. We're doing 100 events in 10 days. They told us we couldn't do one event in one day, right? So we're leveling up. Just so you know, the big goal for us is to create billion-dollar revenue-generating holidays on MLK and Juneteenth, and we are on our way with you. They're like 100 events. That's a lot of events. How do you do all that? Put it in perspective. South by Southwest will be there at a pop-up next week in Austin. They do over 216 events in about 10 days, right? We're just African-American, and for some reason, there's a self-limited belief that minorities can't do some of those same things. But with you, we're going to help change that narrative and take things to the next level. Y'all be blessed. I'll see y'all in June or on the masterclass in our mastermind next week. Love y'all.